to get going.
Hey, all right, we're here.
Wow, awesome. So, you guys have done something like this before or no?
We've done a few interviews.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've been on a couple podcasts,
Mhm.
but that's about it. We're not we're kind of shy, so we try not to. I don't know. We do it sometimes, but
we don't
not-
make it a habit.
Yeah, we don't make it a habit to do that, but yeah.
Well, it seems like you guys aren't that shy with 60,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. People like to I don't know, watch what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems awesome. All right, to start, let me ask this, I guess. What initially gave you the idea to begin homesteading?
Where do we start?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's probably a couple of main things that kind of got us into it. The first main thing is like growing up, we always played video games like Harvest Moon,
Animal Crossing,
yeah,
and then we
Stardew
wanted to
Valley.
be Stardew Valley, things like that. We wanted to be part of 4-H, and growing up in the suburbs and stuff, it just wasn't possible. And
I remember asking our dad, I think we were in like fifth grade, we wanted to hatch out ducks, and if we could turn the trampoline into like a chicken coop or something. And of course he said no, we're in the suburbs and stuff. But it just was kind of deeply rooted even back then. We've always just wanted to raise animals. And
but then later on, it was just became more of like a we always wanted chickens, but later on it became more of like a food thing, so we really it was really important to us to have like organic food or grass raised beef, or just good high quality food. And it's not cheap, it's not cheap to eat good food and to eat well. And so that also plays a part into why we wanted to homestead, just because it's an upfront investment, but eventually the idea is that you have your own, your own good quality, the best quality food. The best organic food is never going to be as good as homegrown stuff.
And then I think the third thing that kind of got us into it was 2020 and seeing the grocery store shelves just empty. So at the time we were living in an apartment, and you can't do much there, but we were dreaming for so long that one day we'll have a farm, one day we're going to raise animals, one day. And we just kind of decided we're going to just stop dreaming, stop just hoping for this one day to come, and we're just going to start now. And so we did. And we started with quail on our balcony, and we learned how to butcher quail. We got a meat rabbit, and we learned how to butcher rabbits. And so that was just a really empowering time for us, because we knew if shit hits the fan, then we could at least have some sort of meat just in our little apartment.
That's baller as fuck. So, quails they're not big, right?
No. They're let me see if I can get a size comparison. Like this little jar of water, they're like about like this tall, about they're maybe even a little shorter. So they're like tiny little,
and they lay eggs. They'll lay eggs every day, and the eggs are tiny.
It's a great novelty. And actually, if you wanted to, you could make a business out of it.
You could sell to restaurants just quail eggs, because it's a thing.
So, but the butchering of something so small, is that like worth your time?
So in hindsight, if in hindsight we would have gone all in on rabbits had we had known. I think initially we just wanted the eggs of the quail, and at the time we weren't sure if we could handle rabbits because they're cute. But in hindsight, if I would have we would have full rabbits. Quail, I would say it's worth it because they are prolific, and if you have the space, you could get a ton of quail going. And if you go to the grocery store and you see like the little Cornish game hens, they're about that size when you dress them out. And so that's, you can have like two of them for lunch, and it's perfectly like you could just, it's
delicious.
It's delicious, and it's I would say it's worth it depending on the space. Maybe not for an apartment.
I would go all in rabbit though.
Yeah.
All you need is a buck and 2 does, and you've got hundreds of pounds of meat a year. So I probably would, in hindsight, go full rabbit.
That's wild. That I mean, I guess I never even thought about rabbits in that aspect. I don't even think I've ever had rabbit meat. So you just found a way to essentially live forever by breeding rabbits.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. And if you have a big enough space, and
And rabbits
thankfully-
don't even need that much space.
No, rabbits don't need very much space at all, because you know, you have I mean, it's controversial. We do keep our rabbits in cages, but that's, you know, the plus side of that is that you know, you really can have rabbits in a small space. You could even stack the cages, so it's really only taking up, you know, one corner of your house. If you have 3 cages stacked up, then you're good. And if you have the space, which is also a huge bonus about rabbits, but if you have the space, you can feed rabbits just off of the stuff on your land. You don't need to buy commercial feed for them. And that's what we've been exploring too. We get essentially free food, and that's kind of what it's become for us at this point, is absolutely free. You know, of course it costs to get the cages going, but other than that, it's pretty much free now.
So essentially an initial investment with an ROI.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And it's really like, I know a lot of people are kind of iffy about rabbit meat in general. They're like, oh no, but it's actually really tasty. It tastes like chicken, just like chicken, maybe a little leaner, but yeah, they're delicious and easy to process, much easier than chickens and quail, because there's feathers and stuff with chickens.
Right. Yeah. So that's pretty amazing. What other animals are you guys working with?
So at this we went big at this time, because we moved since from the apartment and stuff, and now we're renting on a plot of land, which we are so blessed, so thankful for. But now we've scaled up. We've got a dairy cow now, so she gives us all of our dairy products. We have milk coming in every single day, 2 gallons a day. We've got butter from that cream. We've got we can make cheese and stuff. We've ice cream, yeah. We've made mozzarella so far, but we're gonna go all in on different kinds of cheeses. So dairy, that's checked off. Because I mean, if you think about it, organic dairy is very, very expensive. If you want raw products, Yeah, we drink
good
it.
luck. You know, good luck finding it for an affordable price. Our dairy cow's already paid for herself in just the products that we've made and the products that she gives us. She's already paid for herself, and that's huge. But we're also doing lamb now. So that's kind of our next big like meat project, is having red meat. Yeah, red meat. That is really important to our family, is having red meat. And so that's where lamb comes in. They're really easy to butcher. And yeah, like a big rabbit. Yeah, it's like a big rabbit.
It's so weird because you guys are like manlier than most men that I know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But Chris does the butchers, but we do like
Well, he does the dispatch, but we'll dress it out. We're very quick and efficient with just gutting it, gutting and skinning and stuff. But Chris does the initial kill. Yeah.
Nice. Let me ask you this, because I was like scrolling through your page a little bit. Can you talk to me about the beef fat on the face?
Oh yeah. Oh, tallow. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So tallow is beef fat. And
Right.
our ancestors used tallow for thousands and thousands of years.
Right.
And you know, I don't know where this like, I don't know, there's like a negative like stigma against like beef tallow as skin products for some reason. And it's just a lot of misinformation, for lack of a better word. But
Well, if I had to take a guess, it's got a lot to do with the way that our country's run with corporate greed. Because I mean, look at the way the food pyramid was sold to us for 40 years, and realizing that was all just a scam. So I think that a lot of it's got to do with, hey, let's not let people know what these free remedies are, so that they can spend their money and be slaves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think, you know, a lot of people are just lathering up their faces with chemicals and stuff. And I think like the cancer rates in the world, in this country, has like is up 200% from 30, 40 years ago. And I just think we need to be scaling back a little bit and going to more simpler things and more whole ingredients for everywhere in our bodies, whether that's the food we eat or the skin products we use. I think the simpler the better.
That's pretty wild. And you just, I guess you just, was that from research that you figured that out?
Um, I mean, yeah, I mean, not like deep diving research, not like, I guess it's kind of some people just do it in general. Like we have friends and stuff that have used tallow on their faces. So it's just kind of been talked about in our circles, especially like our niche on Instagram. Like just a lot of the people we follow too, they also just use tallow. So for us, it's like, well, yeah, duh, like it's whatever. But like other people, like in our family or something, might be like, what are you're crazy. So I don't know. It just, for us, it just kind of seemed normal. By the time that we like kind of learned about it, we're like, oh, duh, like that's especially like seeing for ourselves like what a whipped tallow balm looks like. It looks just like lotion, like any kind of lotion. And it just seemed perfectly natural to us to just try it at that point. Works great. It does.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that you guys were doing it. What about so the yeast water? What's that? I'm really interested in what you guys are doing. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, you know, sourdough, you know, the big sourdough craze. People love sourdough, and we loved sourdough too. But we learned somewhere that just somebody was mentioned a yeast water somewhere, and we were just really interested in that because we had never heard of that. We'd done ginger bugs and made ginger beer, but we just didn't do the put two and two together, that you could also have that culture that where you make yeast culture. So not only can you make a soda with it, but you could also make bread. You can make all sorts of things with just this bubbly, fizzy water that you can basically use anything that's natural, of course. So any flowers that are edible, any herbs, add water and sugar and give it some time, and eventually it starts bubbling up and fizzing, and you've just got this bacteria culture, and you can make soda and wine and bread and all sorts of things. Yeah, and the wine that we've made is so good. And it's the best of the best. Like you can't find good wine like that, and it tastes good too. And you can make wine out of anything. And you know, it's not just grapes. You're not limited to that. We made an apple wine, and it was really good.
So you guys are making me feel like a giant piece of shit because I go to work and I go to the grocery store.
Well, everybody does. And we still go to the grocery store. We just picked up a Costco lamb because, you know, our lamb's not ready. And Costco lamb is a really good price, and the grass fed in New Zealand. So it's, you know, you just got to do what you can. And if you're going to go to the grocery store, you know, just find the best quality that you can. And because our intention isn't to make people feel like shit. Like we want to inspire people. Like, hey, we were doing
that's
it.
Kind of what I mean, but it's just that I'm sitting here like doing this everyday slave thing, and you guys were like, fuck that. You can do this and you're doing way better than probably all of us could just stop this medial bullshit.
I know.
And do that.
Imagine that. Like if everybody just like full stop on that, you know, the bullshit. The bullshit. Yeah, the bullshit. And then if everybody did a little bit of something, I mean, and it's kind of tough to say because, you know, you kind of sound like a communist at that point when you're like, okay, well, everybody could start trading things and people can get on this bartering system. And if I have lamb and you have chicken, then we can work out something, and people could just work together based off of, you know, just based off of their strengths and weaknesses. I think that, you know, the bullshit would disappear, honestly. I mean, it's kind of more of like a tribal type of thing. Yeah, it's just really I don't know, ancestral. And I think that's people need to kind of go back to that. I feel like, yeah, then the bullshit would stop.
Yeah, and I think ultimately that's how we originally started this society, with the barter system and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And when we got away from it, I don't really know, but it's so wild that it's such a it seems like such a distant thought now that it's impossible. I could never do this. I have, just like you guys said at the beginning, that was just something you felt like you always wanted to do. I have kind of always have this like little part of me that wants to throw on a cowboy hat and jump on a horse and go have a ranch, but
Yeah.
probably will never happen. But you guys were like, fuck that, it's happening. We're gonna do it. And you showed essentially, I'm not gonna say easy because you worked your ass off clearly, but you also showed how easy it is to just like set your mind to something and go to work.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think that one of the things that we would like to inspire people to do is that you can do a little bit wherever you are. You can do, like, if you really wanted to, you can do rabbits because they're easy and they're very space efficient. And you know, if you want just a taste of that lifestyle, you can have it, you know, and that's or grow a garden. Like, if you don't want to do meat or whatever, if you're vegan or whatever it is, like, grow a garden and you just feel more fulfilled, knowing you can take care of something for however long, and then that product takes care of you and feeds you initially.
It's such a wild thing, and I think it's so awesome that you guys are doing that, and not only that you're doing it, but you're documenting it for the world to see. Because
I don't know.
it really is inspiring, and as I look at it and I talk about it, I'm like, man, that is just, it's inspiring. That's the word. Like, here I am thinking about it and wishing I could do it, and you're like, here's the DIY. Just just jump out there. Where's the guy?
Oh, Chris. Well, he's about to go cover our cow because it's pouring rain right now. So we're like trying to tell him, like I'm trying to signal him, like, Chris, go outside and cover the cow because it started pouring rain. But yeah, we're sending him on a mission now. Pouring rain. I'm glad it's not me going out there. That's for sure. It's been raining all day, and I've been sending Chris to go do everything. I feel bad, but I'm not going out there.
Well, it seems like that was one of the questions I was going to get to, is who exactly wears the pants in the family, and that was answered right there.
Chris,
So now here's the thing too, because I'm curious about a lot of things, and I think a lot of people probably would be. And also, you find yourself on this channel, which is kind of fucked up. We talk about everything and we get into everything. So, with your permission, I would like to delve into the polyamory thing.
Sure. Yeah, we can. It's not. The thing is, I don't like the term polyamory, at least for this relationship, because it's not like that. It's not open. It's not an open relationship. It's not polyamorous. It's not LGBTQ. It's not like part of that spectrum. It's not, you know, in Portland you get a lot of polyamorous couples, but it's like it's not. That's not us. Yeah, what we have is it's just different. Polyamorous, it would imply that the relationship is like open and we would want more people in it, and it's the party stops at us three. Yeah, you can ask about it. Sure. Yeah, we have a lot of questions about it. That's for sure.
I have tons of questions, and I'm going to start with this one, and just because I love the way you broke that down, because if you have to think about it, you essentially have the same exact DNA all the way down to the bottom. So it's really not, it's kind of just like the same thing.
I guess I would say so. You know, and maybe, I don't know if Chris wants to hop on and say his, like, it might be interesting to get his point of view on it.
Yeah, should we wait? Should we wait for him?
Maybe, we can swing back around on that topic, just because it might be interesting to hear what he has to say. but
You guys
yeah,
don't know what he has to say?
I mean, we do. It's just like, I want to hear like what he says. Just
Sure.
yeah. I don't know. It's I guess it is like different because we are the same. It's not like we are two separate people in a sense, but it's not like he's dating like two best friends. That it would be really different if we were just like two friends, or or even strangers at first. It would just be much different. And I think a lot of people just don't understand that, maybe. We definitely get a lot of hate for it. That's probably one of our more controversial things on our page, or why we get a lot of followers, is just because they want to watch the show on that. But yeah, I don't know. That and rabbits, we get a lot of hate on the rabbits, so that's kind of,
Well,
maybe that's what gained our popularity. I don't know.
well, whether you're getting good or bad attention, you're getting attention.
That's what
And
Chris says, but I
that-
don't know. I don't like the criticism. I really don't like it. It doesn't sit right with me. It's or maybe we're just sensitive people. I don't know. It's I don't know why people would go out of their way to make other people feel like shit, It's just, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you why. It's because they have nothing better to do and they feel like shit themselves, so they have to try to point that out. And just to kind of give you an example, a personal example, I did like, I was a wrestler for a while, like the professional wrestler type, and for maybe the first month or two, I wanted to come out and be the good guy all the time, and when people weren't cheering for me, it hurt my feelings. Until somebody in the back told me, they're like, it doesn't matter if they're cheering or booing. What you want to do is get their attention. You want to get them up out of their seats. And so if they're flipping you off, that means that they care about you. And that means that they need to know what's going on with you.
Yeah.
So,
So
when I started to realize that, then I started to like break out, and I started to just be like way more comfortable with myself. And then I was like, fuck you, everybody gets a fuck you. And it didn't matter. And when the show was done, people were lined up outside like, hey man, come talk to me. And I never break character, so I'm just like, fuck you. But but it's definitely one way to look at it, is to realize that they're paying to watch you. And if they're giving you hate, they're still paying to watch you. So it means that they care about you, but for whatever, they don't understand. And maybe they want to be you, and they're afraid to do that themselves. I don't know. It's a weird thing, but I've just learned to not even absorb it. And sometimes I'll interact with them, but most of the time when I interact with them, I'm normally just like, oh friend, sorry, I realize you stumbled across a satire page, or I'll make it seem like I'm killing them with kindness and make them feel like jerks too. But I'm just fucking, I'm ripping on them. I don't care. But
it's a good way to look at it. It is. I think also what, a good strategy, at least for us, if we don't like, what these people are saying, instead of fighting them on it and trying to like always defend ourselves, if it's getting too much, then there's no shame in just blocking them and, just cutting it all, because it's, if it's going to get us down, then it's, oh, hang on a second. Chris is back. He wants to ask you questions.
Oh, I want to ask all of you a lot of questions.
Okay.
How old are you guys now?
I don't know, 31.
You don't know?
You lose count after a while, right?
I
It's
mean, I don't know.
31,
I turned
30.
40. I just remembered that.
Okay, well, so I think we're gonna be 32 this year. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Both of you forgot?
I don't know. 30 was
What's your ID say? What's the year?
92. I know what year I was born. It's just you just gotta do the math. You're like, okay, 2002, okay. Oh shit, we're 32. No, we're not. I think we are.
It's 24 right now.
Oh. Okay, so yeah, that's 32. Shit. That's how we'll do it. That's it's yeah. All right,
Good stuff.
Chris is here.
Howdy. What's going on?
What's up, man?
Oh, just our cow has to have a roof. For some reason.
Well, nice to
That's
meet
cool.
you finally. I've never had the pleasure.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we watched your channel.
yeah.
Got to.
so
Be part of
since you've watched my channel, then you probably won't be surprised at the next line of questioning that's headed your way.
Okay.
We'll try to get that to fit. Yeah.
All right, so I guess I want to start it with this. How did the idea come up? Was it not just tell me how it came up?
The idea of the relationship.
Yep.
Just kind of met.
we were friends first. Yeah, we were friends. So he knew he
You know, friends of friends. You meet almost anyone really.
yeah. How did it? But I don't think we even it wasn't really like an official okay, it's a package deal.
Yeah, I mean they've been inseparable since they've been allowed to, other than grade school and they're forced to be apart. But at least in their later teens, they were always inseparable and still are.
So it wasn't said, I guess. He just assumed, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But that was kind of
people just have never. I don't know. It freaks out a lot of people for some reason. I don't understand.
yeah.
So I guess I was hoping that it was going to be more devious. I was hoping that they had the plan in their head, and then one of them started dating you, and then they just started switching off, and then they got super mad at you and was like, "Yeah, could you not tell?" But then they were just kidding.
No.
Yeah, they've always been, at least as long as I've known them, they've always been inseparable and always together.
Yeah.
And always.
So there's never been any tricks. You guys never played a trick on him once?
No. He could tell us apart by our voices.
Yeah, just their energy is pretty notable. Some people just I don't know. I'm bad with names, I guess, but faces or energy or whatever. It's second nature. But a lot of people they just can't even.
Yeah.
You can't for the life of them figure out who's who.
It's not like I mind if people can't tell us apart. It's just if people are annoying about it, they're like, "Oh, which one's which one?" Then it's just fuck off. Either figure it out or don't say anything about it.
Well, in all fairness, somebody on the outside looking in, a stranger, would have a hard time knowing.
Yeah. But
yeah. It's very rare that you see twins, let alone identical twins, let alone twins that are inseparable.
That are adults too.
That are adults, and so I think that's most people just have never thought of it before, and their brain just short circuits.
Yeah,
because they'll go to Costco and people will be like, "Are you twins?" That's that's at least 10-20% of everybody they see.
Yeah.
How do you answer that? Everybody says that. It's.
I mean, be like, "Are you retarded?" I don't know.
Yeah, it's at that point, it's just, yeah.
So, and now to start getting to levels of fucked upness, does this get into is this a party, everybody's involved, or we do single things here and there, like the Mormons do? You got to just spend separate times with everybody?
Yeah, they're not incestuous.
Yeah,
which seems to be what everybody likes to believe for some reason.
Yeah, I think
which is I don't know why, but maybe pornography or something, but that's
just, a lot of people assume that we're together, me and my sister, and that's
maybe the whole trend of poly, whatever.
Well, because in all fairness, I'm in Virginia, so ancestry is it is what it is. Sometimes people are fucking their sisters.
Yeah, it's the dawn of time.
Yeah, not these sisters. Not these sisters. No.
So
I think
and then the other thing that because my mind goes into places. So my next question was going to be, which I think you already answered it. I was going to say, has there ever been a time where you guys Eiffel Towered him?
What the hell?
Eiffel Tower.
I don't know. No. Is this gonna be public?
I mean, yeah, it's a little public.
Oh, no, no,
No.
Eiffel
Oh,
Tower.
so you're saying no because it's gonna be public?
No, I'm just,
No, they're just very.
I just,
It's just not.
oh no.
It's a
Like,
valid
if you had sex with
question.
a dog, like, you know.
Hey, we're just trying to learn here. That was a valid question.
No. It's because that seems to be what most people just think for some reason. Like their mind just goes to like whatever craziest,
Scenario that they.
Well, we
can-
don't know, and people are scared of what they don't know.
Mhm.
But
Absolutely.
Mhm.
but also people that are honest with themselves are not scared by it. They want to learn and they want to like, hey, is this for me or is this not for me? And maybe some things about you guys are not for everybody, but there are some things that you're doing that 100% are for everybody to be able to live off of your land and to not have to depend on a store.
Mhm.
If the electric goes out for 2 weeks, you're good. If COVID happens again, or if the government decides to do some bullshit, you're good.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that you guys are doing that are for everybody, but the thing is, humans are humans, and we all have things that are different from other people too.
Mhm.
That doesn't make you an evil person. It just, to
People
me,
are
makes
interested
you,
in
to
sexuality.
me, it makes you interested. Oh, I'm very interested in it. It's a wild thing.
Oh yeah,
I'm a little bit jealous of you because
that's what they
I
said.
never had some twins come up to me and be like, "Yo, what's up?"
Yeah, it's
A lot of people say Chris is lucky, but
it's a lot of double the trouble.
And yeah, and that is so. All right, you opened the door for this, so here we go. And again, this is just because here we are. You landed on my channel. So, is this the thing where he has to deal with like double trouble the same week every month, or does it alternate?
our cycles are not linked up.
Their cycles fluctuate. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're off, which is
Mhm.
very curious. Like like you talk to any doctor, you say twins, their eyes just fucking light up. Like it's just science research. There's twins are so rare, and any sort of thing like that is curious. And yeah, I don't know why the cycles are not always lined up, but
sometimes, like if there's
cycle, yeah.
like if there's what is it, solstice, summer solstice or a winter
yeah.
solstice, then they do line up. But
That is wild.
yeah, but then other than that, for some reason it's like complete opposite, which is, everybody says women sync up after a while, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
it does seem to be like an astrological like solstice sort of thing where it will line up.
Yeah.
Just coincidentally or whatever.
But
So
then there's hell to pay if we're both lined up.
Well, regardless of the cycle, yeah, it's always double trouble to deal with.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to ask.
It's so mad at him.
Is it better to have it, one after the other, or is it better to just get it over with at one time?
I'd say like it doesn't even matter. Like there's just gonna be who knows.
It's
Nice.
always, if the both of us are mad at him, then it doesn't even matter where we are in our cycles. It's just
But they've learned a lot about like because obviously their whole life or most of their life they've been together. So the way they come up with coping with anxieties and all sorts of anything they deal with life, they have to be together. So they have very non-traditional coping anxiety methods or whatever. So the way they've done a lot to, I don't know.
Well,
anxiety.
is it really fair to say it's a non-traditional way? I mean, in all fairness, their DNA split, so they were given the gift of having two brains. So it's maybe just non-traditional in the sense that not a lot of people have that ability, but I don't know that that's to say that it's not something that shouldn't be there, and it's just maybe they were just gifted. And because everybody always says if you can look at it from a different angle, so if you have two of yourself and they're both thinking the same thing, and as I'm doing this interview, they're just like finishing each other's, one starts the sentence and the other one finishes it.
Yeah,
It's pretty
that's
awesome.
a bad habit.
But it's awesome because it's not like you're missing words and like going off into different tangents. You both have the exact same thought.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's another thing is that I would describe them as extroverted because they talk out their ideas and whatever. Like they'll just talk out. They're not like, I don't know, I'll think things through in my head, like come up with a plan or execute or whatever, but they just talk everything out loud. But in social settings, they're not very loquacious or they don't like to socialize a ton.
No, we don't.
But I describe them as extroverted because that's how obviously they have the same DNA, so they have to somehow, work together.
Communicate.
So they just talk it all out.
I talk it out loud, but then when we're in public, we're very shy, very, very shy in public. We don't.
Probably because most people just are like, whoa,
Yeah.
people twins.
Yeah.
People are retarded. Mm-hmm.
But on that point though, to make things happen, for example, it starts with a thought. Like you said, you think it, but then the next step is to speak it and then it happens. So it's almost like, I guess, because again, two people looking at the same view, it feels like I'm learning some deep shit right now. And maybe I'm just making it up because I've had a few beers, but it seems like maybe like there's a real thing that's going on here by having that gift of having, a completely, what's the exact word? It's just identical twin. There's not anything else to it.
Monochrome. I don't know. I think there is a word for it.
Monozygotic or something. Yeah, something like that.
It feels like there should be something else because it's like you guys were just a strand of DNA that got split, like a split end of a hair that you just can pull apart. And so I can only imagine if there were two of me, and I always think that there was, but I ate the other one in the womb because he was a pussy. But
it happens. It's very common, yeah.
But if somebody else would have came out of the womb that could like sit there and talk to me back and forth like that, it feels like maybe I would have been like a king of Egypt or something.
Yeah, it's when we just kind of like we don't really think about what we're going to say before we say it. Just like as it happens, we just talk it out.
Yeah, just very much on the same level.
Yeah, we're just completely on the same level about everything.
I guess that's just, there's probably a more psychic something, whatever level to it, esoteric, but also just years, decades of talking everything out together. They're kind of going to understand.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's so awesome. So how long has this whole thing been going on?
9 years?
Almost 9 years?
Yeah, almost 9 years.
And everybody's happy.
We don't really do numbers around here.
We didn't really have an exact starting date.
No.
It's towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
I love that.
Something like that.
They've got
It
the same
doesn't
harmony.
matter.
I can't tell the difference in their voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell the difference in the voice. And
Well, I guess I have to be around a lot longer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so awesome. Was there, so, and this part I'll add in only if it's true, but my mom mentioned something about a Lyme disease thing. Do you guys curious?
Oh yeah, I was through the ringer. I looked like I had AIDS, I guess. At least a couple medical professionals are like, I go to the doctor every fucking month or whatever. I'm like, please heal me. Tell me what's wrong with me. I'm dying. And they're like, oh, I don't know. You don't have lupus. You don't have hepatitis. You look like you have AIDS. Let's test you for that. No, you don't have that. And then I say, oh, I've every symptom of Lyme disease here, and I've been bit by ticks, whatever, etc. And they're like, we don't do that here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lyme.
So I gotta interject for a second. They said you look like you have AIDS.
Multiple medical professionals
in San Francisco. In San Francisco, like the top doctors are.
In Nevada.
Oh, Nevada. Whatever.
Anyway.
All right, I'll let you tell the story because I wasn't there.
Yeah,
because I didn't think you look like. I don't know what people look like that have AIDS. How do you judge somebody like that?
I would describe that everybody has AIDS. It's essentially you have the more bad bacteria you have in your body, so it's kind of an exponential growth factor. So, like you have whatever to the power of 2 to the power of 10. You have exponentially way more bad bacteria, and then you get wasting syndrome where you're like a skeleton, and you look
like shit.
Yeah, just very skinny. Like I could barely be 120 pounds on a good day, despite eating thousands of calories and whatnot. And but I would anybody who's in a similar struggle, I'd recommend the advice and books of Dr. Stephen Buhner and Andy Cutler Chelation, as well as raw eggs.
Yeah, raw eggs. He eats 10 raw eggs a day, and that was a huge contributing factor to health. And yeah,
They contain the most basic building blocks of life, to put it very simply. But
So is it gone? The Lyme disease is gone?
I would say, yeah, the Lyme disease is gone. But there's also a lot of other, like, co-infections. So when your body gets to a state of such disease, there's you get systemic disease where you get all sorts of crazy, bacteria all up in your body, in your brain, spinal.
Bartonella.
Bartonella, cat scratch disease, mycoplasma things, babesia, which is like super malaria. That was the most awful thing. You feel like you wake up and it feels like you can't breathe, like you're drowning, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's
There's
like
no,
MCAS, right? Like
it's a mast
cell.
it's a histamine mast cell based sort of problem where like you get histamine released and you kind of feel like you can't breathe. It's like that kind of disease level. But yeah,
Why haven't you guys written a book?
I want Chris to, because he really has.
Well, I mean, yeah, I could write it, but I would just say Stephen Buhner is a wonderful writer. He was a wonderful writer, and but yeah, especially for like the current generation, there seems to be a lot of doctors would ask me like, "Are you is your case special? Like, is it just you who are sick like this?" Because they're trying to say it's like a psychosomatic or psychological condition, but it's not. I've met a lot of peers, older and younger too, who had the exact same sort of thing. You even look at like Kurt Cobain, his diary said he had stomach parasites, and I had stomach parasites too. Treating those was one of the first things to being able to eat. I was like anorexic my whole life because I'd eat food and I just feel like absolute terrible. And
when we met Chris, he was very sick still. I mean, I think he was just coming out of it mostly, but
yeah, I've been taking a lot of herbs and other therapies for a couple of years, and it just takes time. The longer you're sick, the longer it takes to heal.
That's just incredible. You guys have a wild story, and I'm just so fascinated by it.
Yeah, and I think that the one thing that Chris would recommend, I mean, I'm saying this for him obviously, but I think he would recommend to anybody raw eggs. That's like the number one thing that you could do.
Easiest and best one trick pony or whatever.
Yeah.
So what about the salmonella risk?
There's zero chance of salmonella.
Zero chance.
You can look it up on the FDA website. You have an infinite more chance of getting it from eating greens. Like the egg is perfectly packaged, and like if you eat cookie dough, you get the salmonella from flour.
Yeah, it's from flour, not the raw eggs. And that's a common misconception is cookie dough, you'll get salmonella, but it's from the flour, raw flour.
I made a video on raw eggs and I'll send it to you. It answers a lot of
questions. I would love to see that, because that's the bullshit that I'm talking about. A lot of people don't know and don't understand these things.
Even doctors will tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I was kind of saying to them a little bit ago, I mean, the whole industry was manipulated for 40 years with the food pyramid because the sugar companies were paying off the doctors. So they don't want you to know that you can cure things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Allopathic medicine, it's a profit business, and people can't seem to understand that for some reason. It's purely for profit. So
yeah, I need to see like some more of your guys' stuff, and I also need to see you guys writing books and stuff, because this whole thing is at minimum a Netflix series.
Oh God.
I'm serious. It's wild.
I'd be dead before that happens. Kelly, stop. Hey,
you got to give it to the world. This story, considering everything that's going on here, you guys just went from city girls to essentially, I mean, you guys are out there building fences out of trees. You're walking around. You're carrying trees.
Yeah, as time goes on, it kind of develops, and like when you ask about like my past health, it seems like another lifetime, or it's just a story I retell. And I imagine it's the same for our relationship and our homestead. As time
Mhm.
goes on, it kind of just develops into a story. It's a whole other thing. And then at a certain point, then it'd be right for
A book or something, maybe.
yeah.
I don't know.
Express somehow.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a maybe. I think you guys have an inspiring story that needs to be told to the world.
Oh,
No,
thank you.
absolutely. They see a few haters on their Instagram and it puts them uptight. But then there's there's so many people that they're so inspired by what they do, and I don't know, so inspired. They just inspire a lot of people.
Oh, shucks.
To have haters means you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, you have to have haters. It's human nature.
I don't know.
I don't
I
like it.
I don't like having haters. It's
Well, no, nobody loves it, but I mean, the fact is, people are miserable, and you just got to kill them back with kindness, and
yeah.
either they'll respond good or they won't. And some people are just evil fucking souls. What
Yeah.
do you do about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pure projection. Like they're just talking about themselves, like whatever they
Right.
have a problem with, and it's
Yeah.
funny.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I didn't understand what you guys were doing, but that didn't mean I hated you guys. I was like, I'm interested. Like, what's up? Especially like knowing that it's been like 10 years. I mean, and you guys are still working. When you
Yeah.
think about most marriages in America are done in 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's a good point. Yep.
Mhm.
So I'm very interested. I'm like, well, all right, obviously it's working. People are
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah,
That's-
it's an irony. We can't even get married,
Yeah.
even in countries where so-called polygamy is legal. They can't get married because they're sisters.
Mhm. Yeah. So
They, that I had lawyers look it up. We looked it up.
So here, and just being purely objective here, just outside looking in. I don't know anything. I'm not a human. I'm just looking. So here's how your world works. Man and woman can get married. Man and man can get married. Woman and woman can get married. Sister and boyfriend cannot get married.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Man can turn himself into a woman and marry a man or a woman.
Yeah. What if you don't self-describe as a sister?
Yeah. If I
But
don't.
also, what about the royal families? Weren't they marrying brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
They're very deeply entwined.
Yeah.
To put it.
You got to keep the bloodline pure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Keep the blood flowing.
Yeah.
Such a wild thing. So you guys will never get to have just like the basic benefits of marriage.
Nope. No,
No.
never.
Not unless
On
you
a
know,
deathbed, you won't have the right to be next to your partner.
If you go to a hospital to be on your deathbed, if you
you can come up with like a trust and other sort of legal documents that kind of do the same thing, but yeah, there's kind of just a psychological thing that says you can't get married, which is
No
even
legality to it.
Yeah, and for better or worse, you don't play the state's game or whatever, but
true. Yeah, good point. But if we have a
Unreal.
trust,
it's
then
ironic.
yeah. But if we have a trust though, like a private trust, then we could say anything because private trust is what all of the big wigs at the top they don't want you to know is they're
Right.
all working on private trust too. Even on the dollar bill, it says "In God we trust." Trust
Right.
everything's
Oh.
under.
Wow.
Mhm.
You guys are gonna send me down some rabbit holes. I didn't mean that as a pun, but I mean
Yeah. That's my new thing.
that's crazy.
Mm.
Well, look, we're getting kind of late over here.
Mm.
I really appreciate you guys' time on this, and
Mm-hmm.
I hope we can do this again. And I hope I get to come out there and actually like check out what you guys are doing in person.
Yeah, of
because
course.
that
Yeah,
shit
they're
seems
invited.
pretty dope as fuck.
They'll get to milk the cow.
I'm all about grabbing some titties.
Yeah.
And we'll make you rabbit tacos.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to try it. I've never had rabbit.
Oh yeah, it's
love it.
delicious. You
Tastes
won't
like
even
chicken.
you won't even know. We'll just say it's chicken, and you'll be like, oh, that's good chicken.
But I want to
It's-
know. I want to try different things. I like eating
Yeah.
elk and goat and lamb.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll
The
see.
best thing about rabbit, I'd say, is that their shit doesn't smell. It
Mhm.
smells like grass.
Mhm.
They're very clean.
Mhm.
So compared to like chickens just are
They're
gross
nasty.
and gnarly and like monsters, but rabbits are nice and they don't smell and they're very
Mhm.
Yeah. So
They're
and
good
they have
life.
very good output of meat too. so.
Yes. Yes.
It's a wild thing, and I'm really excited for what you guys are doing, and I can't wait to see where you guys end up taking this. And
Yeah.
I certainly
gonna
wish you
do
the best of
everything that we
luck. And I'm just like, I'm gonna watch every bit of it. I'm so fascinated by it, and hopefully, again, like I said, I'd love to get you guys back on, on a semi-regular basis, just to kind of touch base with you and see how it's going. And I'm
Uh-huh.
sure some of my fans are gonna have some fucked up questions that will
Oh
ask
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
But
that's gonna be something.
but please
we
don't
learned
worry
it
about
all.
haters. Don't worry about any of that kind of shit, because you guys are balling and I love it, and I think that most people do. That's why you have so many followers.
Oh, yeah, I hope that we can, and I hope we can inspire people, and I don't know, just give them a little hope from where they're at. Not everybody has land, and it's rare at this point to have land, but you can do anything wherever you're at. You just got to put
even
your
on the
mind to
balcony.
it.
Our people didn't know we had quail on the balcony because they sound like normal birds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was wild.
Yeah.
Her telling me that, and they're the size of Cornish hens.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
pretty good size. So it's like if you want the meat, then
They're like a third of a chicken.
yeah,
They're
it's
good.
not bad.
Lunch.
If you get eggs out of it too, then it's not bad. I
Yeah.
mean, in hindsight, I'd go all in on rabbit, but like if you want quail, then it's totally doable, and it's fun too.
The person who talks about quail, he just like cleans. He can like kill a quail or dispatch a quail and then pluck it and everything in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's very very quick.
What you guys are doing is awesome, and I hope that, I mean, obviously I can't do any more than you're already doing with your following, but maybe a few other people will see it, and it'll just make it better.
Yeah.
So
I hope so, and I hope that people can just be more aware of where their food is coming from, and like feel like they can make a difference in their own circle and their own lives and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hope you find some of their followers that kind of relate with your content and that
Yeah.
stuff too.
Uh-huh.
Because it's
Yeah,
difficult to like network online.
Yeah.
yeah, and all I'm really ever trying to do is just make fun of the obvious,
Yeah, it's
which does, it doesn't even make sense to me that it has to be made fun of, but that's the earth we live on now.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what do you do?
It's absolutely
that's good content for Instagram though.
that is
at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta work on building up the other profiles. I just didn't expect it to kind of blow up like it had. So now I'm like, fuck, I need to start getting some other social media, and it's a lot of tedious work, which, as you guys probably know.
It's worth it to connect with like-minded people, and the people that you do meet. It's definitely worth it, and you can find your people, and if you decide like not to homestead, you can connect with local homesteaders and help each other out, and that's a really good thing too.
Yeah, you can. There's surprisingly a lot of local people we've met here in Spokane.
I thank you so much for doing what you guys did for me, and I'll be in touch with you guys, and hopefully again, like I said, we can do this again soon.
All right, cool. See ya.
All right, thank you.
Bye.